Hi, everybody. I'm Sally Wagner, and welcome to the High Frequency Mindset Podcast. I am so pleased to introduce our guest today, Italina Kirknis. Italina, welcome.
Thank you so much, Sally.
And I am so excited to introduce you to our audience. You are an online presence expert and speaker. Italina helps the real estate community's top real estate agents and mortgage professionals upgrade their presence online through LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and email newsletters. Italina and her team of social media managers help you gain more visibility online, driving a steady stream of clients to your business. You should know that Italina is trained as an attorney. She has a Juris Doctorate Degree and has a legal background. However, like many recovering attorneys, Italina is now practicing her passion, online branding and marketing. She speaks on national stages such as Inman Connect, NAR, that's National Association of Realtors, and she is an Inman.com contributor. Since 2012, her business has been the vehicle for her personal and spiritual growth, while she creates value for each of her clients. And Italina, you speak a lot about leveraging LinkedIn for leads, and I love some of the talking points that you've included. Do more than simply accept connections and endorsements. Use LinkedIn as a marketing tool for your business. Leverage LinkedIn to get on Google and promote your brand on LinkedIn. All very crucial things to know as we build our presence for our business.
Precisely.
Yes. So, wow, lots there to talk about. And of course, probably a very common question for you. And, you and I have this commonality of legal background, working in the law as attorneys. How did you move from that, and why did you move from that to your passion and what you're doing now?
Yeah, well, like everything looked great on paper. I had this great job, but I was really miserable. I was really unhappy. And I just didn't see myself being in that state for the next 30, 40 years. So I made the decision to switch careers. I didn't know what I was switching to. I just knew I needed to take a step. And for me, that step was one, changing my LinkedIn, right? Getting that together so that when companies look to hire me, they can see all that I had to offer. And then I also wanted to put myself out there. So I started doing what we call today posting and really personal branding. And this was back in 2010 before we were really talking about those topics. But that's what I was doing on LinkedIn on that particular platform, because it's a professional platform. And I began receiving messages from companies saying, Italina, we love what you're doing. We see you everywhere. We want you to do it for us. Yeah. And from one company to the next, to individual business owner, next thing you know, I've got more people asking for this service and I don't have time to go on job interviews. So yes. That's the rest is her story.
And that's an amazing story. And I hear that from a lot of people that, you start doing something that is going to be good for you and building your business and your next career step, whatever that may be. And then suddenly it turns into a huge business opportunity.
Exactly. So yeah. I feel very much more in alignment. I'm happy. It's been 10 years now. That was over 10 years ago. And it's a beautiful thing when it just kind of lines up.
Mm-hmm. It is. And what you said about it looked good on paper. I mean, I talked to so many people. I felt that myself, you're successfully discontent, right? Yes. And you do have this life that looks great on paper, and yet it doesn't feel so good inside.
Right.
Yeah.
And I knew I wasn't going to stay on that track. I knew I wanted something else.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And what an amazing track you found, because this is such an important thing for people who are building their businesses. And as you said, LinkedIn is a fabulous platform to do that. So I mentioned some of those learning points that you help people with. Could you expand on one that you think is really crucial for people as they're building a presence online?
Absolutely. So one is the profile itself. I like to call it like your online storefront, basically. What I see often is a stagnant resume. And that's, if we're business owners, we don't want it to look like that. We want it to look more like a marketing page. And your audience is welcome to take a look at mine to see what I'm referring to. It looks robust. It looks like a page from a website. So
Yeah.
welcome to connect with me. Let me know you saw me here with Sally.
Yeah. And I must say your LinkedIn profile is amazing. It's very beautiful. It's visual. It catches people's attention. So I can definitely see how you got the attention of people who wanted you to help them do what you did for yourself.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah. And you mentioned for people to get in touch with you, and I'll certainly put all of that information in the show notes. So everyone, please look at the show notes so that you can connect with Italina. What's another common thing that you see people doing not exactly right, something that they could do differently that would help them?
Yeah, I think there's this thinking that on LinkedIn you have to be stiff and it's so professional, it's so corporate, and it's really not true. LinkedIn has certainly evolved over the last decade and certainly over the last couple of years. So you can actually really use this opportunity to promote your personal brand, like really show your personality. And just to give you an example, one of the things about me is I'm a tennis player. So I actually include that in my LinkedIn profile. So I put both in the heading, tennis player or championship tennis player. And then I even have a little video of me with a tennis racket on there. So the visuals, LinkedIn has given us a great opportunity to visually show our brand, specifically in the featured section. And if you don't see this on your profile, again, you'll definitely see it on mine. It's a section that you can add. You totally can control it. You can add it to your bio at any time.
Mm-hmm. I love what you say about, the personal brand and personalizing that presence on LinkedIn, because we're there, we want to make connections to do business, and yet it's all about building the relationship and being personal about it.
You're absolutely right. And to me, one of the big pieces of building a relationship is being relatable. And I can't tell you, Sally, how many other tennis players, tennis fans, tennis lovers who I've connected with because they've seen that tennis on my profile.
Yeah. Yeah, it goes back to the old adage that people do business with people they know, like, and trust. And, one of the ways that we like people is because we have things in common.
Sure.
And once we establish that, then we can begin to build the trust factor. And next thing you know,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So that's certainly very important. But however, it probably should be balanced, right? It's not all about, everything personal, right? We want to.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And the rule of thumb that I use is being able to tie it into business. Will other professionals be able to relate to what you're sharing? And so, for example, when I'm sharing tennis, I'm tying in the fact that, oh my God, the discipline, the regimen, all the things that built in me and helped me develop as a person, my character, and how that helped me as a business owner, right? How those skills carried over. So being able to tie it into the professional world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it needs to be relevant. It's just not some random thing, right?
Precisely.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's an important balance to strike. We don't want to be, so removed and business only, and yet we don't want to be the other way either.
Right. You're not just sharing your cats, for example, on LinkedIn. You are definitely asking yourself before you post on LinkedIn, will other professionals be able to relate to this?
Yes, absolutely. Because that's what it's about. It's the relating, the relationships.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like I'm, soliciting all this fabulous information. What's another tip that you could share with us?
Okay, for sure. So definitely you want the consistency on your other platforms. So meaning, for example, my profile photo on LinkedIn, you'll see the same exact profile photo on my Instagram, right? I'm using Instagram to also promote business. And then same with the Facebook business page. So on all three professional platforms, it's the same headshot, me in the purple dress, my hair off to the side. So there's no confusion because you want, no matter where people find you, because everyone's using a different platform. There's over 600 million users on LinkedIn. Tons of people are still using Facebook,
Yeah.
Instagram, right? So you want that no matter where they find you, they see, oh yes, this is her for sure. That you don't want there to be any doubt, right? Any ambiguity. Is this the right page? Is this the right person?
Yeah. Consistency is definitely important. And maybe this is just a pet peeve of mine. Could you talk about the quality of the photo and what kind of photos should we have on these social media platforms when we're there for business purposes?
Absolutely. And the thing is, because it's again a professional presence, you're having a professional presence, you want your photos to have a bit of professionalism. And I say that because it doesn't mean you need to hire a photographer necessarily and have these, amazing, shots. Amazing smartphones these days, they're high quality images. Yes, it's great to have those branding shoots for sure. Know that you can also use a quality phone with a quality camera to take your photos. And really, to me, a professional photo is well lit, right? It's sharp as opposed to being blurry. And it helps us to understand you as a human, as a business owner, as a professional.
Yeah. Yeah. And how frequently would you suggest we update those photos?
Okay, well, one, for example, I've been in business for a decade, and I've changed my headshot probably 3 or 4 times in that decade, right? Basically, if you're going through a change, or we change over the years, maybe our hair changes, then it's certainly time to update the photos so that they also see that in your online presence.
Yeah. Yeah. I work with a lot of real estate agents, and there are many times when the photo and the person don't really match. And so I have the feeling that it's long past time to get an update. So that's why I was asking.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we definitely want to stay current. We don't want to, again, that's confusion. That causes confusion. It causes doubt. Is this the
Right.
person? Oh my goodness, right? It raises questions.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think it makes us feel better. I feel better when I get a new headshot.
Absolutely.
If my hair changes or whatever, it's just a nice thing to be up to date with those things, I think.
Sure, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And what's so
And
nice is in the featured section on LinkedIn, you get to share even more photos
yeah,
beyond your profile photo.
right. So, and that's an opportunity to share things that perhaps show you in your professional setting, you as a speaker, right?
Absolutely right. Yeah, I definitely have. The featured section is actually quite robust. I have things that span over the last decade there, and it just shows this nice progression and it allows people to get to know you.
I love that because it does show the progression. It shows the continuity of what you're doing and how you're impacting businesses.
You're right.
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone who looks at your profile could certainly learn a lot. And certainly if they speak with you, when they speak with you, they'll learn much more.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing that I read in your bio that you sent me, you talked about, and I'm going to refer back to the notes, that you use your business as your personal and a vehicle for your personal and spiritual growth. Expand on that a little, if you don't mind.
I'd be happy
How
to.
has that contributed to growth in those areas for you?
As many of these conversations that I've had, no one's asked me that. So well done. Well done. Well, first of all, in my legal career, again, it was like a part of me I had to check at the door and then collect on my way out at the end of the day. whereas my business allows me to be my whole self. And it has definitely allowed me to be more in touch with my spirituality and just the energy of everything. I'm making business decisions, not just using one standard of, statistics or data. I'm able to check in with my energy and see if this feels good, because again, I left a career because it didn't feel good.
Yeah.
So now I'm making decisions that make good business sense and that feel good energetically.
Yeah, I love that approach. I use that in my business decisions, in my life decisions, my coaching, because I certainly firmly believe that it's all about energy and frequencies, and when something resonates with us.
For sure. And what's so great is, my work, social media management, maybe at the outset I thought, okay, I'm just doing social media management, but I've come to see oh my God, it's so much more. I'm impacting other people. I'm impacting their businesses. I'm impacting their outlook, right? It's this whole ripple effect. It's allowing them to showcase themselves and do what they love, right? So it's just this beautiful ripple effect.
It really is. And especially as you help people identify their personal brands, that helps them discover themselves, really, their voice and their message that they want to put out to the world. And that just increases the impact on an even greater level.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing how all of that is related, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes when we're in those more traditional career paths, as you said, you do check part of yourself at the door, because we feel so compartmentalized with, well, here's what's expected, and that's all they want, and that's all I, am allowed to bring to meet the expectations, right? And then,
that's exactly how I felt.
Yeah. And then as you branch out and develop your own business, you're able to fully incorporate all of those aspects of yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thankfully.
Which I think is the goal for all of us, right?
And that's the completeness. And I think when we're whole, when we're aligned, that's when we're at our best. That's when we're at our happiest.
Absolutely. That's when we can speak with our full voice and give full expression to the impact that we're here to have in the world. Yeah, it reminds me of a quote from Howard Thurman, who was a mentor to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And he said, "Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it, because that's what the world needs. People who have come alive."
That is beautiful.
And I think that's certainly it epitomizes what you are doing in the world.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
And then as you help people with their branding and their social media presence, you're helping them to do the same thing.
Right. Do what makes them come alive.
Absolutely. And probably helping them discover that as part of the process.
Wow.
Yeah. So what would an onboarding process look like for someone who wants to work with you?
Sure. So first things first, start with a conversation. I get messages via LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram as well at Italina K. People will message me. They say, "Hey, Italina, I would love to chat with you. I'd love to look into your services." So then I just schedule a call. We schedule a call and we talk about what their business and the platforms they want to use to promote their business. So whether it be just LinkedIn or LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And once they become a client, we actually will, our most popular service that's asked for is what we call the bio rewrite or the profile revamp, where we get to know them, really, really get clear. My team and I get to know that you as an individual, as a human. My team and I, we do our own research, brainstorm, allowing us to rewrite all of your bios for you.
Wow.
That's our number one most asked for service. And then our second is the weekly posts. So again, having gotten to know you as an individual, your business, as a human, so both the personal and professional, and then designing, I have talented graphic designers on my team, and we are able to post to promote you and your business each week.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's such a vital service that you provide for people.
People like it because it's personalized. We don't share any generic content. Again, it's all about getting to know you and as a human, as your business, what sets you apart, and then sharing that, right? Allowing you to put your best virtual foot forward.
Yeah, I love it. I have one question for you. One more question. So in my coaching, one of the acronyms I use is MSG, and that stands for mindset, skill set, get off your asset, because I think that encapsulates a lot of important principles that people can use as they build businesses and as they build the lives that they love. And so I would ask you something similar. As you look at your life and your business, is there a principle that you would identify that you believe has contributed to your success?
Yes, and here it is. Start where you are. Start where you are. So I think sometimes we can spend some energy and time in worrying about, oh, I'm not where I wanted to be, or oh, I should have done this, and all of these things. When if we put that energy to like, okay, here's where I am. This is the next step I'm going to take. And that way you're enjoying the process, right? It's this beautiful journey that you're on, and you're going to get there. The truth is you're exactly where you're supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. You start where you are and do what you can with what you have, right? And no regrets about it should be someplace different. It should be somehow different or better, or, you know, it's just where you are is where you start. I love that.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, I have so enjoyed our conversation today, and I know everyone else has too. I appreciate that you took time to speak with me today.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
everyone, again, make sure you check the show notes so that you can find out how to get in touch with Italina, because I know you're going to want to talk with her about building your social media presence and really shining and having impact on LinkedIn. Thank you again, and make sure you tune in next time for High Frequency Mindset Podcast.